The kiss wasn't just a kiss, the crash was louder than thunder. Kyle nearly dropped his wrench when the sirens blared across the outpost. He rushed to the radar console and saw that something had slammed into the dunes just outside the perimeter. While his outpost, deep in the desert of planet Drozhine, rarely saw visitors. And this wasn't a visitor. It was an escape pod. Kyle grabbed his gear, jumped on his rover, and sped toward the smoke. Sand kicked up behind him as he reached the site. The pod was cracked open like a broken egg. Heat shimmered off the metal. He moved slowly, cautiously. Then he saw her. Lying half-conscious inside was an alien girl. She looked young, maybe early 20s if she were human. Her skin shimmered like pale silver under the sun, and her long hair flowed like liquid moonlight. She had delicate markings on her cheeks and glowing purple eyes that blinked up at him weakly. "Help," she whispered, voice rough and dry. Kaya didn't hesitate out of the wreckage and drove back, fast. The outpost's medical room wasn't advanced, but it was enough. He treated her burns, cleaned the wounds, and gave her water. For hours, she slept. When she finally woke, she stared at him. "You saved me," she asked. Kyle nodded. "Yeah, I guess I did." She looked confused, then amazed. "A human. Helping one of my kind." "Well, I'm not a monster," Kyle joked, smiling. She didn't laugh. Her eyes softened. "You could have left me. Many would." "I'm not many," he replied. She reached out, touched his face gently, then paused. "My name is Zara." "Kyle." Their hands stayed joined, a second too long. Then she suddenly leaned forward and pressed her lips softly to his dot. Just once. Warm, quick, light as a feather. Kyle blinked, stunned. What was that?" "A kiss," she said simply. "In my culture, it means thank you. Nothing more." He chuckled awkwardly. "Right? You're welcome." Later that night, Kyle sat outside, staring at the stars. Zara was resting inside. He thought about that kiss. It hadn't felt like just a thank you. But maybe that was just him being human. The next morning, things changed. He opened the outpost gate to check the scanners and froze. There were 7 more aliens standing outside. All female, all with the same glowing eyes and markings as Zara. They stood in silence. Then they knelt. "What is going on?" Kyle muttered. CR appeared behind him. She walked forward, calm and proud, as if expecting them. One of the alien girls raised her head and said something in a strange tongue. Zara nodded, then turned to Kyle. "They came for you." "Me," Kyle said, backing up. "Why?" Zara's voice was steady. "Because you kissed me." "Wait. No. You kissed me. And you said it meant thank you." "For you, maybe," she said. "But for my people, that kiss was sacred. It creates a bond. A life bond. It means you accept a place among us as one of us." Kyle's mouth dropped. No. I didn't agree to anything." Zara tilted her head. "But the kiss was given. It is done." The girls behind her all spoke the same word in unison. Torva Zara looked at Kyle with strange emotion in her eyes. "It means father." Kyle took a step back. "You've got to be kidding me." "They don't see you as a stranger anymore," Zara continued. "They see you as something greater. The one who saved me. The one I kissed. That makes you sacred to them. It makes you ours." "I was just helping," Kyle shouted. "I didn't know it meant all this." "I know," Zara said gently. "But we don't choose our path after the kiss. The path chooses us." Kyle turned away, panic rising in his chest. "This is insane. I'm just a mechanic. A guy fixing broken pipes and machines. I'm not anyone's father." But behind him, the girls bowed their heads lower. They were waiting. Not for a leader, for family, and deep inside, Kyle felt something stir. Not fear, not confusion, something warmer. Zara stepped beside him. You don't have to understand right now, but they believe in you. Kyle stared at them, these strange, glowing-eyed girls from another world. And one word kept ringing in his head. Father asterisk, the bond that cannot be broken. Sat alone on the outpost's rooftop, eyes locked on the twin suns rising over the dunes. He hadn't slept inside. Zara and the other alien girls were resting peacefully. But he couldn't close his eyes, not after what happened yesterday. He had been kissed by an alien girl. She told him it meant thank you. But now, they were calling him Father. Every time one of them looked at him, their glowing eyes shined with something more than gratitude. Respect, trust, even love. And that terrified him. Kyle rubbed his hands over his face and sighed. What the hell did I get myself into? He thought about running. This wasn't his fight. He didn't belong in alien politics or ancient traditions. He was just a mechanic, a human stationed on a quiet planet to fix power grids and keep to himself. He wasn't a leader. He wasn't a father. And yet, there was something about Zara's voice when she said, "The path chooses us." Something that stuck in his chest like a hook. Before he could decide what to do, soft footsteps approached behind him. It was her. Zara stood beside him, wrapped in a long cloak that shimmered like glass under the morning light. She looked calm, peaceful. "I knew you'd be here," she said. Kyle glanced at her. "Let me guess you read my mind too." She smiled slightly. "No, but when someone's world changes overnight, they often stare at the sunrise, hoping it will bring answers." Kyle exhaled. "Yeah, well, the sunrise didn't help." Zara sat beside him, folding her legs under her. "You have questions, have a whole galaxy of questions. Starting with how does one kiss make me your father?" Zara tilted. Her head, her long hair brushing her shoulders. "To you, it was simple. To us, it's everything. The kiss shares breath, energy, even thought. Our ancestors believed it joins two life threads into one. It's more than emotion, it's spiritual." Kyle looked away. "You should have warned me." "I did," she said softly. "I told you what it meant, to you. But I couldn't know what it would trigger." "Trigger," he repeated. Zara reached for his hand. Her fingers were warm. "There is a genetic key hidden in some humans. Rare, very rare. When that key meets our DNA, something awakens. A bond old as our race." Kyle frowned. "What are you saying? You were compatible?" she said. The kiss confirmed it. "You are what we call a veil, the father of renewal, a human able to connect. Not just emotionally, but biologically." Kyle stood up quickly, breaking the contact. No. I'm not some chosen savior. I'm just a guy who gave first aid." Zara stood too. She didn't flinch at his anger. "We didn't choose you. The bond chose you." "This is insane," Kyle muttered. Suddenly, a loud banging echoed through the outpost's hallway. He turned sharply. One of the alien girls, smaller than Zara, with greenish patterns on her arms, stood trembling in the doorway. Her eyes were wide with panic. "They're coming," she said. Zara stepped forward. "Who?" "The hunters." Within minutes, the outpost's scanners picked up movement to ships, unmarked, speeding across the dunes. Zara's expression turned serious. "They are not soldiers, not government. They're collectors." Kyle narrowed his eyes. "What do they want?" She didn't blink. "Me, us, and now you." Kyle ran to the armory and grabbed the only weapon he had. Plasma rifle, old but working. He looked at Zara. "You're not going anywhere. I'm not giving anyone up." Zara walked to him, placing her hand on his chest. "You can't fight this alone. I won't, he said. I don't know what's happening to me, but if someone wants to take, you take them away. Like property, they'll have to go through me. Zara looked at him deeply, then slowly leaned her forehead against his. I was right about you, she whispered. Behind them, the other alien girls stepped forward. One by one, silent, brave, each. One placed a hand over their hearts. They were ready. The ships landed just beyond the ridge. Figures in black armor marched out, holding energy nets and weapons shaped like claws. Kyle stood at the entrance, rifle in hand. One of the armored hunters pointed. That's him. The bonded one? Come peacefully, human, another shouted. Hand over the girls, and you'll be paid. Kyle raised his rifle. I already got paid. He fired the first shot. Hunted by both sides, Kyle fired again, one clean burst of blue plasma. The blast struck the sand in front of the armored hunter. The man dove for cover, yelling something in a sharp alien dialect. Move. Kyle shouted to the alien girls behind him, get inside now. But Zara didn't move. Instead, she stepped forward between Kyle and the attackers. What are you doing? Kyle shouted. They're not just hunters, she said calmly. They're enforcers from my world's lost council. They think you've broken our sacred code. Kyle glanced at her, disbelief on his face. Me? You kissed me. They want to kill me for that. No, Zara whispered. They want to own you now. You're too valuable to be free. The girls behind them huddled in fear. One was already crying. A deep voice boomed from a loudspeaker outside. Surrender the human, and the bonded females will not be harmed. Zara looked at Kyle with steady eyes. If they take you, they'll use your blood to breed more like us. You'll be trapped forever. A prisoner and a resource. Kyle's stomach turned. He looked at his hands. They were glowing, faint. Blue lines ran beneath the skin lines that hadn't been there before. His fingertips felt hot. His heartbeat was louder. Zara, he said slowly, what's happening to me? She looked down, sorrow on her face. The bond is not just cultural, it's biological. The kiss was the start. Your body is changing. Changing into what? Into one of us. Kyle stumbled back, gripping the wall for support. No, I didn't ask for this. I didn't want this. Shh, you can still fight it, Zara said quickly. But the longer you stay near us, the deeper the bond grows. Another plasma shot hit the wall beside them. Kyle grabbed Zara and pulled her to safety. We can't hold out forever, he growled. We need a way out. Inside the outpost, Kyle activated the emergency defense grid. Rusty turrets popped from the sand, auto-locking. On heat signatures, the hunters outside scattered, dodging the fire. But they were trained fast, coordinated, and brutal. Zara's youngest sister clung to Kyle's arm. I don't want to be taken. Please, Father, don't let them take us. Kyle swallowed hard. She called him father, and something inside him something. Deep, primal Dash responded, not with fear, not with doubt, with purpose. He turned to Zara. How many can you get into the crawler? 8? Good. Load them. I'll hold them off. You'll die. Kyle grabbed another weapon, this one heavier, a whale gun he'd been meaning to fix for months. Now it was their only hope. I'm already dying, he said, pointing at the glowing lines crawling up his arms. But I'll die my way. He ran outside just as the next group of hunters advanced. Plasma blasts lit up the morning sky. Sand exploded around him. But Kyle wasn't just dodging. He was seeing. He could predict the shots before they fired. His muscles moved faster, smoother. His vision adjusted to the heat and smoke like instinct. He pulled the trigger. 2 hunters dropped. He rolled, blasted another. then ducked behind a fallen pod shell. Inside his head, voices whispered, not in English, not in any language he knew, but he understood them. Protect the bond. The father must not fall. You are not alone. He shook his head. Get out of my brain. But they didn't go. Instead, he felt strength rise inside him, like he had roots in the ground and wings in the sky at the same time. One of the hunters lunged at him with a stun spear. Kyle caught the weapon mid-air, twisted it, and flung the man into the dune like he weighed nothing. Zara appeared beside him. You're changing faster than expected, she said, breathing hard. Your body is adapting to ours. I don't want to adapt, Kyle said. I want to survive. Zara placed a hand on his shoulder. You're doing both. The crawler engine roared to life behind them. The girls were aboard. Kyle and Zara climbed in last, sealing the hatch just as a grenade exploded nearby. The crawler took off across the desert, metal treads grinding deep into the sand. The hunters fired after them, but the range was too far. They were safe, for now. Kyle collapsed against the wall, sweat dripping from his brow. Zara knelt beside him. I'm sorry, she said. For the kiss? For all of this. Kyle looked at her, tired but alive. I'm not. Zara blinked. What? I don't regret helping you, he said. I don't regret the kiss. I just regret not knowing what it meant. She nodded. Slowly, you will understand in time. Kyle looked down at his hands again. The glowing lines had spread to his wrists. Now, I'm turning into something else, Zara. She smiled. Not something else, something more. He leaned back and closed his eyes. But even in the dark, he could still see the stars, and the whispers in his mind would not go silent. Asterisk. Transformation begins. The crawler rumbled through the endless desert, engine humming like a tired beast. Inside, Kyle sat against the cold wall, breathing heavily. His shirt was soaked with sweat. Every heartbeat sounded like a drum in his ears. The glowing blue lines on his arms were brighter now, thicker. They pulsed softly, like they were alive. Zara sat across from him, eyes full of worry. Your body is accepting the bond, she said quietly, faster than I've ever seen. Kyle didn't answer. He was watching his fingertips. They flickered with light soft blue sparks like tiny stars dancing under his skin. Will I survive this? He asked Jod. CHRA hesitated. If your mind stays strong, yes. And if it doesn't, she looked away. You will lose yourself. Become something new. The alien girls sat close together at the back of the crawler, whispering in their native tongue. A few stared at Kyle like he was already different. A few looked at him with fear. He wasn't sure which was worse. Hours passed. The crawler stopped. Beside a jagged cliff of black stone, Zara led them into a narrow cave, hidden by layers of dried sand and vines. Inside, the walls shimmered faintly traces of old alien tech, powered by heat and wind. This place wasn't just a hiding spot. It was a sanctuary. Old carvings lined the walls. Some showed stars, some showed strange shapes. But in the center of the chamber was a mural half-human, half-alien figures holding hands. Kyle stared. CHARA stepped beside him. This is the prophecy, she said. Our ancient ancestors believed one day a human would bond with one of us, that the kiss would awaken something lost, something powerful. Kyle rubbed his eyes. So, I'm a legend. Now, I didn't sign up for this. You didn't have to, Zara said. The bond chose you. He sat down on a flat stone and sighed. His whole body ached. Not from fighting, but from changing. His vision had sharpened. His hearing picked up the girls' whispers in the back, even from across the cave. And the worst part, he could understand. Their words, they weren't speaking English, but he knew what they were saying. He is glowing more now. His voice is deeper than before. I think he can hear us. Kyle closed his eyes. The whispers in his mind returned. Breathe, grow. Protect the bond. He gritted his teeth. Stop talking. To me? Zara stepped closer. The voice will not leave you, Kyle. Not until you accept it. He opened his eyes. Accept. What? That I'm turning into some glowing alien dad for a bunch of girls I barely know? Zara's face darkened. They are not just girls. They are survivors. The last fertile daughters of our kind. We have no world left. No fathers. Number? Future, and I'm supposed to give you all that. Kyle snapped. No, Zara said. You are supposed to lead us there. Kyle stared at her. Lead? He was a loner. A fixer. A man with a past full of mistakes and a present full of running. How could he be a leader? That night, the sky outside the cave turned dark purple. 2 moons rose. The alien girls sang softly. There. Voices echoing like wind through crystal. Kyle couldn't sleep. His muscles burned. His mind raced. He splashed water on his face at the cave spring. And stopped cold. His reflection looked back at him, but it wasn't entirely human. His eyes glowed faint blue. His veins shimmered under his skin like lines. Of living light, his jaw looked stronger. His ears had shifted slightly, just enough to notice. He punched the water. Zara appeared behind him, silent. I'm not me anymore, he whispered. You're still you, she said. But you're also more. He turned to her. Why did you kiss me, Zara? Really? She took a breath, because I was dying. And I didn't want to leave this galaxy without giving someone hope. Kyle's chest tightened. And now? He asked. Now Zara stepped closer, eyes wet with emotion. Now I believe hope kissed me back. He didn't speak. She placed her hand over his heart. You may not be their real father. But to them, you are what fathers are meant. To be strong, brave, protective. Kyle looked toward the cave entrance. Out there, soldiers still hunted them. His DNA was probably already tagged by the human fleet. He couldn't return to Earth. He couldn't go back. But here? Here, they looked at him like he was something sacred. Kyle exhaled. Then I guess I don't get to choose who I am anymore. Zara said, her voice soft. You choose what you become. He looked down at her hand. Then slowly, he placed his over hers. Then let's become something they'll never forget. The father of a new race, the journey through the stone tunnels was long. Kyle walked behind Zara, his body still aching, still changing. The glowing lines on his arms had spread to his chest. His heartbeat was strange, now slower, heavier. He didn't even sweat anymore. The air inside the mountain was warm and sweet, filled with a strange scent like flowers and rain. The alien girls followed closely, quiet and alert. Their small group moved deeper until Zara stopped in front of a solid rock wall. She placed her hand on the smooth surface. The rock shimmered, then vanished. A hidden passage opened. What is this place? Kyle asked, blinking. Zara looked over her shoulder. Home, or what's left of it. They stepped through the invisible barrier and into another world. Inside the mountain was a glowing underground city. Smooth stone paths curved between large crystal structures that lit up softly as they walked past. Pools of blue water reflected glowing vines that grew along the ceilings. Strange animals scurried past, small, harmless, curious. Kyle's mouth fell open. Why haven't I heard about this place? Zara's voice echoed gently. Because your kind never found it. We hid it before the war. Dozens of alien girls older than the ones in their groups stepped out from doorways and corners, watching him. Some gasped, some whispered. That's him. He carries the bond. Look at his eyes. A tall female approached, her presence powerful. Her skin was darker, and glowing tattoos covered her arms and neck. She had the calm grace of a queen. Zara stepped forward and bowed. Mother Velian, I brought the bonded one. The tall woman looked Kyle up and down. He glows, she said. But does he know who he is? Kyle stepped forward. I'm not sure what I am anymore. Velian studied him for a long moment, then nodded. You are the first in 1,000 years to carry the bond. You are the renewal. Kyle shook his head. I didn't ask for any of this. Velian's voice was kind but firm. Great things are never asked for. They happen, and the brave accept them. Later, Kyle sat by one of the glowing pools. Children played nearby alien children, but something about them caught his eye. Their skin was lighter than the others. Their features, almost human. He watched in silence until Zara joined him. They're hybrids, she said softly. From before the war, a few of our kind once loved humans. But those children were hunted. Many died. Kyle's jaw tightened. But some lived, yes, Zara said. And now, with you, we can begin again. He turned to her, uncertain. Are you saying you want me to help you make more of them? Zara didn't flinch. I'm saying our people are dying. Without connection, without unity, we will vanish. You carry the bond. You are proof that we can live together. Kyle stared into the glowing water. He remembered Earth, his lonely apartment, the empty jobs, the faces he passed without names. No one ever looked at him the way these people did. No one ever needed him the way they did. Later that night, a ceremony was held. Dozens gathered in a wide stone hall. Velian stood at the center, surrounded by glowing lanterns. Kyle was brought forward. A child stepped from the crowd, one of the hybrid children. She walked slowly, holding a glowing stone. She placed it in Kyle's hand. Father, she said softly, this is for you. Kyle's chest tightened. I'm not your real father. You're the only one who stayed, she whispered. Silence fell. Kyle looked around. Every face was watching, every heart hoping. He looked at Zara, then stepped forward. I don't know what kind of man I was before this, he said. But if you're all willing to call me father, then I won't run from it anymore. Velian nodded. Then it is done. Blue light rose from the stone. The bond deepened. Kyle's body shivered, but he felt no pain, only belonging. Later, Zara found him alone again. Do you regret it? She asked. He looked at her. No, I just don't know what comes next. She smiled. That's the truth of being a parent. You never know, but you keep going anyway. Kyle chuckled. Guess. I've got a lot to learn. Zara placed her hand in his. You've already started. They stood in silence, surrounded by glowing light, strange stars, and new family. But peace would not last. Far above the mountain, just beyond the orbit of planet Droznina, human ship blinked into view, and its scanners were locked on one signal. Kyle's asterisk, war or peace. A low alarm echoed through the crystal halls. Red lights blinked on the edges of the sanctuary. Walls quiet, but urgent. Zara ran through the corridor and found Kyle already gearing up, strapping on a utility belt and grabbing the old plasma rifle. The glowing blue patterns on his arms had now reached his neck. He looked stronger, faster, and less human with every passing hour. They found us, he said calmly. Zara's face was pale. The humans? Kyle nodded. Yeah, my people. He walked to the central platform where the elders and children had gathered. Mother Velian stood with hands clasped behind her back, her face stern. They sent a warning, Kyle said to the group. They want me to surrender. They think you're hiding alien fugitives. We are, Velian replied, her voice firm. But only because your people kill anything they don't understand. Kyle sighed. I know. That's why I have to talk to them. Zara stepped forward. If you leave the sanctuary, they'll shoot me. Kyle smiled sadly. Maybe, or maybe they'll listen. They won't, Velian said. But they might listen to you. You look like them. Kyle looked down at himself, his hands, his glowing veins, his sharp features. Too late for that. He whispered outside the mountain. The wind howled across the desert. A sleek human command ship hovered just above the ridge, its side doors open, armed. Soldiers in black armor stood ready. Their guns were raised. One wrong move, and the mountain would turn to ash. Kyle stepped out from the rocks slowly, hands raised. A voice boomed from above. Identify yourself. Kyle Brennan, former maintenance officer, Station Post Rose 9. Civilian class. You are carrying alien DNA? You're infected. Kyle chuckled bitterly. Not infected. Bonded. Another pause. Then you're compromised. You need to come with us for decontamination and analysis. Kyle stood still. You're not hearing me? I'm not coming to be studied. I'm here to talk. You've broken contact protocols. You're aiding alien fugitives. You've changed. Yes, I've changed. And maybe that's exactly what humanity needs right now. There was silence from the ship then. A single figure was lowered down. On a gravity platform, a woman in military armor with silver hair and sharp blue eyes. She stepped off and walked toward him alone. You're the one from the report, he said. The technician with the hybrid signal. Kyle nodded. I didn't choose this. It chose me. And the kiss. She asked coldly. Kyle raised an eyebrow. That's personal. The woman didn't laugh. You understand the threat these hybrids pose? They're not a threat, Kyle said calmly. They're children. Survivors. They've done nothing wrong. Until they spread, she said. Until they reach Earth. Kyle's voice hardened. Is that what you're afraid of? That humanity might change? That we might become something better? She narrowed her eyes. You're not human anymore. I'm still human, he said. But now I understand more than I ever did. He took a slow step forward. Let me speak to your commander. She raised a hand, warning him. You're lucky I haven't shot you yet. Kyle stopped. I'm not your enemy. But if you force your way into that mountain, if you hurt the ones who call me father, his glowing eyes locked with hers, then I will be. Inside the sanctuary, the children watched the sky. Zara paced near the entrance, her hands clenched. He's been out there too long. Mother Velian remained seated. If he returns, he's chosen peace. If he doesn't, she didn't finish. Back on the ridge, the commander stared at Kyle. What exactly do you want? A meeting, he said. 1 hour. No weapons. You, me, and a few of your science officers. I'll show you the sanctuary. I'll show you the truth, she scoffed. And if I say no? Kyle shrugged. Then you can try to explain to Earth why you started a war by firing on unarmed refugees. Children, mothers, a man who saved lives. The commander said nothing for a long moment. Then she tapped her comlink. 1 hour, no weapons. You lead. Exactly. An hour later, the commander, 2 officers, and a medical scan tech entered the sanctuary under Kyle's escort. Their eyes widened at the glowing halls, the peaceful hybrid families, and the murals carved into ancient stone. Children peeked from doorways. One officer whispered, "They look so human." Kyle smiled, because they are. He led them to the heart chamber, where Velian waited. Zara stood beside her. Quiet but alert, Kyle spoke for them all. They don't want war. They want to exist. that's all. You can destroy this place, but you'll only prove we're still afraid of what we don't understand. The medical officer scanned Kyle silently. His readings glowed. She's right, he whispered. He's human, but something else too. The commander looked at Zara. Did you really kiss him? Zara met her eyes. Yes. And you trust him? Zara's voice was clear. With my life. Kyle stepped closer. This is the future. Not one side, not the other. Both together. The room fell silent. The commander looked around. At the faces, the lights, the peace. Finally, she turned to her officers. We'll report that the site was unoccupied. A false signal. No contact made. Kyle's eyes widened. You'll protect us. She turned back to him. I didn't say that. I said, I'll give you time. Make the most of it, Kyle Brennan. She turned and walked away. As the ship rose into the sky and disappeared into the clouds, Zara looked at Kyle with tears in her eyes. You stood between two worlds. Oh, she whispered. Kyle smiled, tired but proud. No, I stood with both. Legacy of the kiss 10 years later. A cool breeze moved through the golden trees of the sanctuary valley. Strange flowers bloomed across the hills. The sky above shimmered with two suns and the soft hum of protective shields, now old and buried. Under moss and roots, the war never came. No army ever returned, and the hybrids once feared. Once hunted were now something more than survivors. They were a people, and they had a name. A young girl with bright blue eyes and skin dusted in silver markings ran across the soft grass, laughing. Mother, mother, she shouted. CHAR turned. From the fruit tree she was trimming. Her hair was longer now, tied in braids. Her face had aged slightly, but the light in her eyes was still strong. What is it, Saya? She asked, smiling. The girl pointed up to the hilltop. The statue again. I saw a bird land on his head. Zara laughed softly and wiped her hands. On her long robe, well, she said, we can't let your father look silly now, can we? At the top of the hill stood a tall statue, half human, half alien in design, strong shoulders. One hand open, reaching toward the sky. The other wrapped gently around a child who looked just like Sfeya. The face was calm, kind, watching over all who came after. And beneath it, written in both languages, he gave us more than a kiss. He gave us a future. Zara stood at the base of the statue, placing a small flower at its feet. Saya tilted her head. Mother, what was he like? Zara looked up at the statue, the wind brushing through her hair. Kind, she whispered. Stubborn, brave, and always tired. She smiled at that. He didn't think he was special, but he always made the people around him feel important. Saya's face turned serious. Why did he leave? Zara knelt beside her daughter and held her hand. He didn't leave, she said softly. He became something else, something too big to stay. Back then, after the commander spared the sanctuary, Kyle had helped rebuild everything. He helped teach the children both human science and alien art. He helped plant the food trees, build stronger homes, and connect minds between cultures that once feared each other. But over time, his body kept changing. Faster than Zara expected, his glowing veins became rivers of light. His voice echoed even in silence. He could speak through thought, heal small wounds with touch, and sense emotions like color. He wasn't just human anymore. He wasn't just alien either. He was the first of something new, and the bond inside him had grown too strong to stay in one place. So one night, he walked to the edge of the valley and didn't return. No goodbye, no sound, only a soft flash of light over the trees. Saya looked at the sky. Do you think he's still alive out there? Zara smiled. I don't think he died, Saya. I think he became part of something larger than we can imagine. They stood in silence. The wind carried the laughter of other children playing down below. The valley was alive. Hybrid families worked together, some with full alien blood, some mixed, some entirely new. There were even a few humans who had come secretly, choosing peace over power. They were building something Kyle had once dreamed of. Not a city, not an empire, a family. That evening, Zara sat in her garden. The sky had turned deep purple. Stars were starting to blink. She held a cup of warm nectar and looked at the night sky, remembering his voice, his smile, his questions, his awkward laugh. Sometimes she swore she still heard his footsteps at night, or felt his hand in hers when the wind was just right. She didn't need proof. He still existed. She saw him every day, in Saya's eyes, in the way the children helped one another, in the way the hybrids spoke both languages without ever thinking about it. Zara whispered, "They all call you father now." Far above the world, in a place between stars, a bright light moved across the black dot. It wasn't a ship. It wasn't a creature. It was something new, something with a human heart, an alien mind, and a bond strong enough to hold two species together. A voice echoed in the stars. "I see you, Zara. I see our family. Keep building." And then, silence again. But not the empty kind, the peaceful kind. The kind that means something has been finished, and something new is beginning.